What is going on, guys? So welcome to the first episode of the Bodybuilding Prospect with me and Alex. Today's first episode is not going to be anything too specific, just us rambling, giving you a little introduction into us, who we are as coaches, jump onto some questions later, and a little bit about why we started the podcast.
So the idea behind Bodybuilding Prospect is we spoke about it for about a year now, and there's not really a platform for amateurs of any level really to come on and discuss their experiences, whether it's from coaches to bodybuilding to diets to Peds, anything goes. And the idea is for this to be a place where you could have anyone on here, competitor going into competing or not. The variety is there, and we want to be able to create a platform for that, as well as, you know, some pro athletes, great coaches, give people an insight into the bodybuilding world as a cop that it is, and essentially just opening that door for people to be welcome. Anyone is welcome. So if you are listening from anywhere in your position as an athlete, then you may find yourself breezing with us on here at some point. And obviously we really look forward to that.
As well as trying to dive into as much educational content as we can, but we don't want to keep it boring for you guys because there's enough people out there doing that. I mean, just go check out my YouTube channel. But yeah, Al, tell them a little bit about
you. Go for the best thing about our relationship as coaches and athletes is, and obviously good friends, we don't agree on everything. And I think that is perfect because you have the bro and the science. We both have different views on a lot of things, which I think that makes our relationship so special, is we won't just agree and nod our heads, but yeah, that sounds all right. Oh, that sounds all right. You know, there's so much more to it, and it creates, you know, diversity in between it, and we can see from different views, not just trying to play devil's advocate all the time or anything like that. It's being able to discuss and be open, and you know, we are open about what we talk about, of course, in the bodybuilding world. We've learned from some great sources over the years, and increasing our knowledge obviously as we go on.
I think it even comes down to our individual coaching, like how we come across. Like everything is so different. I think this will be an opportunity as well for anyone listening that is thinking of getting a coach, the kind of path they want to go down and the kind of coach they're looking for. Because you'll see from these podcasts that's come out, me and Al are very, very different in our approach. And it'll give you a chance to decide really what kind of person you feel you resonate with. Not just picking between us, but coaches in general, because they kind of fall into, you know, one or two categories, more or less, like big categories. You either got the bro or you got the evidence-based science guys. Yeah, experience versus PubMed.
Yeah, PubMed. Obviously, the PubMed heroes out there. I mean, I know some people can read one study and think they know it all, and then you have those obviously have years of experience and going into studies. Of course, George is definitely more destined for that side, for the interest. So obviously my experience is what I love, and I love talking to people and seeing first-hand experience, and that can explain a lot, even though it's very vague, a lot of it, but a lot of explanations in bodybuilding can be argued with, yeah, but it works. You know, and there is that part to it. And
that is the worst response. I hate that response because you can't deny it. It worked, but it shouldn't.
Yeah, it works, but it shouldn't. But you can't argue it because it does work, because XYZ individual proved it. But then again, XYZ individual did it a different way and it still worked. So, you know, there's a million ways to skin a cat, and obviously that is bodybuilding and why we love it.
I think that's 99% of your response to me is, yeah, but it worked.
Yeah, but it works. I can't answer it, mate. I haven't got any studies to show you, but it damn works. One thing to go on to, I think, would be good is obviously who we are, obviously, as people that don't know us, no friends, family, or athletes, coaches that don't know us. So obviously start for myself, because I can only talk about myself. I am a muscle model competitor. Fortunate enough, I became a world champion in a federation last year called Pure Elite. I've been competing for 3 years now, moving on to my fourth. Journey from becoming a fitness model, working up in the fitness federations, becoming their pro version, which, don't get me wrong, before anyone slides in and starts trying to slag anyone off, we obviously do know the pro versions of these federations are very different in levels to, say, the IFBB. Just to put that in there before someone starts kicking off at their phone. So yeah, I became a muscle model world champion last year, which was great, an achievement that I set out 3 years ago. And I'm currently moving into open bodybuilding within the next 2 years. Obviously the step up and, you know, following on the career pathway of where the physique fits. And yeah, that is where I'm going.
Yeah, I am George. I'm an online coach. I kind of say I specialize more so on the peds and enhancement side of things. That is where my interest lies, per se, should I say, as a coach. Um, I was toying around with the men's physique for a couple of years, and I'm now an aspiring classic competitor. I will be stepping out on my first classic debut at some point in the 2022 season. Now that I've built a set of legs.
Which you definitely have done in that time. I mean, one thing, if people don't really know George like I do, George doesn't think he's going to be good enough, I guess, or at some point to maybe do anything or anything like that. But it's on me to make sure that I see it gets done. I've supported this guy since, when he didn't have legs, for those that did know. And now he's put, 4.5 inches on them in the last year alone. Actually, it's less than a year.
9 months.
Technical. Pardon?
9 months.
9 months. And that is due to some extreme focus on training, Peds, food, and being what became known as Mr. 100%, which we'll go into in the future about our experiences with coaches and how things change and how development seems to go side by side with effort when it comes to all variables being controlled in bodybuilding. I
think for me, so much. The thing for me was I fell in love with coaching before I fell in love with bodybuilding. I fell in love with helping people before I set myself goals and wanted, what could I do? It was always straight away. It was all about, just that buzz that you get from helping someone achieve something that you can't describe it. It's pride, but it's not, because it's not like a negative connotation. It's just, it fills you with so much joy and reward, being able to help these people achieve what they didn't think they could. That's where my kind of mantra, realize your potential, come from. I'm sure at some point, like Alex's future episodes and stuff, will cover a lot deeper. There'll probably be a point we can go back through my background.
Of course. Because it's real.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's all truth behind what these things have come out. You'll see kind of how the journey's gone and kind of molded us into who we are.
Yeah, because you can easily forget where you started, as an overweight kid in school, self-conscious, things like that, and all of a sudden this guy's in a pair of pants on a stage flexing. Where did that come from? And that is why I think some people may think they may not want to do it or be able to do it, because I'm just a guy who goes to the gym, right? I couldn't do that, but I've seen guys do it, done it myself, fell in love with it, and now it's a career aspiration to make this my life. We live this life day in, day out because we love it. And maybe there's going to be someone who listens here who is in that position that we were in, wanting to get into it, but didn't know the steps and, who to go to for guidance. And we can only do our best to talk about our experience and who we've worked with and who we've seen, who we like. And also we'll say who we don't like. There are individuals out there that not everyone agrees with. Everyone's got different methods. So that we don't like them because they're an arrogant arsehole as a person or anything like that. But as in, there are different methods and ways and approaches, but just love them.
I'll never not like someone because they've got a different view or a different outlook. For me it is when they're arrogant arseholes. I can't stand it.
Yes, as we have.
There's a million and one ways. There's so many different ways you can skin a cat in bodybuilding. People prove that day in, day out. Not every single one way. It's not generic. There's millions of different approaches to how you get stage ready, off-season approach and stuff. I've got my way. Alex has got his way. Joe Blogg down the road, he's got his approach. But just don't be an arrogant arsehole, please. Please.
I think a good thing to go into here is a question. When you are, this obviously aimed at you, as you are obviously going to be an athlete, how do you feel you should act as an athlete, as a coach, if you are an athlete? Does that make sense?
I don't look at myself as an athlete, though. I look at myself as a coach.
Okay.
I find it hard to put myself in that position. Yeah, I know I'm going to be stepping on stage and I'm going to be doing all the same things athletes does, but it'll still be a case for me of I've just got to lead from the front.
Coach first, athlete second.
Yeah, that's always the way with me.
See, that's interesting. Another view, it's funny enough that we don't agree on. I would say I'm an athlete first and a coach second. That doesn't mean by any means I look at my clients lower than anything but what they deserve, obviously, as a client paying for their service. But as in, with the aspirations that go with it, yours maybe, I'm not assuming anything here, that your goals go higher in the coaching world of where you want to be, whereas mine may be more steered towards the athlete world and where you can go as an athlete. And that's pride and ambition and wanting, that's my view on it. And I don't know, it's just
exactly that though. Since day dot when I started coaching, I've always said like, I don't care about saying it now. I want to turn someone pro. That's my first that's my big milestone. Yeah, I might be a bit away from it now. It's out there. That's where I want to go. And whenever I've been asked like, where do you want to go as an athlete, I've always said like, I don't know, as far as I can go whilst
haven't worked out
being healthy. I've never woke up and been like, oh, I want to be Mr. O. I've never had that thing in my head.
Yeah. I think what I love about this world is someone may easily look at a statement or an opinion and be like, why would someone say something like that? Obviously, this is me looking on the outside here. This guy here has just said that he wants to turn someone pro. Obviously, there are coaches out there in this world that have been doing it now 10 years, and now they're doing that. Did they voice it that all those years ago? Someone may remember, for example, the individuals such as maybe Jamie Durago, Jace Long, Joe Jeffrey, go away some random coaches here, Matt Jans and things like that, and now these guys are living that life. Do you reckon they voiced it back in the day? They probably did. Maybe they did. Like for example, I've had a coach tell me he wants to be the greatest coach in the world. That's his goal. And it's ballsy to say, right? But who's to say it's not going to happen?
It's no different than someone turning around saying they want to be Mr. Olympia.
Exactly. Of course. And there's nothing maybe we can go into. What's your view on someone, say an athlete, saying they want to become pro? Like anyone, an athlete full on saying there, this is my famous saying, my road to pro.
I'll tell you what I say to clients, because I always ask, straight away, first consultation call, what is the goal here? I don't care how big it is. You tell me what what is the end game here, so we can look at being realistic. And if someone says to me they want to turn pro, I will literally turn around to them and go, right, well, how do you know what a pro does? Because that's how you've got to act before you get there. You got to be doing everything the pro is doing when you're an amateur and not reaping the rewards and the benefits from it. But you got to be doing that Groundhog Day, day in, day out. Same as what Team LRF, Rob Whitfield has said. You got to be acting like a pro before you're a pro, otherwise you won't get there.
And it's one thing to quickly go into another thing that Rob Whitfield told me when I started. He said, people that want to compete, and he said, there's one way to find out if you are going to be ready to compete at some point is set yourself a diet of X, Y, Z and a training plan and stick to it for 4 weeks straight without breaking it. That means no off plan, just stick to it 4 weeks straight, and that will prove to you that means literally if you pick up a dairy milk or anything like that in that 4 weeks, then you're not ready, because if you can't stick to it for 4 weeks, how can you stick to a 16 to 24 week prep, maybe even longer, whatever your prep time is. And that was just a great thing that I got told literally on day one when I started to look at getting to competing as just, an overweight guy in the gym asking, what is competing? What is bodybuilding? And this is what was told to me.
Another thing as well, because if someone comes to me and says, or, it's anyone just voices they want to be a pro, sometimes you got to be realistic in your own potential. And that often means going to people higher up. And it doesn't mean having some coach just give you some bullshit. Oh yeah, bro, I'll turn you pro just so you jump on their roster and you're paying them money. Yep. It means going to people that have turned physiques pro and trying to get a couple of minutes of their time just to actually look at you and go, in an honest opinion, do you have it? Yeah, maybe in insertion points, size, genetic structure, blah blah blah, for the different, whichever federation, whichever category you're aiming for. But go and find out. Go and ask people. Don't just stand there and get your mates to gas you up and be like, yeah, you look sick, bro. You can be pro.
Yeah.
Actually find some valid eyes to look over you.
That's one thing.
It'll stop you from disappointment. If you spend all your life having someone blowing smoke up your ass thinking you're going to make it, don't, because that's not a nice place to be.
I think the problem with a lot of individuals is you'll have 16, 17, 18-year-olds in the gym, the young guys in the gym, messaging you saying, oh my God, this is going to be pro-worthy at some point. I've seen it. I mean, I've seen guys put it on their stories.
Yeah.
And it's like, mate, does that get through to you? Is that true belief? And you need some real people in your circle. Like, I'll name one person from our gym who keeps it real with me, has done for the last 3 years. His name's Luke. You know, Luke. Luke Missing, he has always told me there is always more to be done to the package that I've brought, you know, and that's real. And here's the thing with bodybuilding, you're not always going to like the answers. What needs to be done? Yeah. And for example, I know he's had conversations with guys before and said, you need a year off season to build up your back. And the guy didn't like it. You know,
Luke bullshit. He does not bullshit.
And because he doesn't lie, you need more Lukes in your circle.
100%. Yeah,
100%. Because I know. Sorry, I'll just jump this last one. I know at any point in a prep, I could message him and I know he'd keep it real with me. I don't care if it's one day out. I don't care if it's an hour from stage. You want the truth. You message a guy like that, and you will get it. You will get it.
But he's not one of them that just talks shit about people, because he understands his own points. He's the same. How he judges himself is how he's like any competitor. So he just
maybe even more so to himself.
Yeah. Matt, yeah.
Obviously, he's a guy who can bring a level. You know, he's proved it year on year on year. And this is not chewing anyone's ass here, but you know, if you can voice it, then those guys should be able to bring it themselves, which someone like he does.
Just leading it back to that, you know, voicing your goals and pro talk thing. That's not any negative shade on people having big aspirations and big dreams. Fuck me. If that's what you want to try and do, then chase it. But just be a bit methodical in how you chase it.
Yeah.
Don't go chase. I mean,
I had it from an 18-year-old client messaged me saying he said he wanted to be pro, you know, and we've had some deep chats about things and told him purely straight, because from that moment on, the vibe changes. Like someone who sends a bland, half-assed check-in doesn't really know how accurate he's been to his diet that week, not logging his training, not keeping an eye on things, kind of floating around, wasn't going out for a drink every now and then. Does that sound like what a pro does? You know, fair play that the guy could be maybe a decade off the goal being real, depending on what division. But it's purely and simple. If you're gonna voice that will get to me and be like, mate, you really need to rethink things, structure things, because you don't say that. To me, it means it's bad to say. Like, I've never said it, and guys that have said it that are on the edge that we've come across, it's like, yeah, like fair play. This guy is the real deal. Like, he probably will. You know, he's been, you know, he's at his maybe 8-year, 9-year, decade point of competing, and you can see the physique is phenomenal. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, this can happen. But when you're so far away, fair play, hats off that you can say it, but act like it, you know, because
make sure your goals align with your actions.
Which I can talk from personal experience. I've full on sat there for 30 minutes on my own, in my own head, after a call with my coach, and going through, did I want my goal? Did I want the next step in my competing career? And it sorted a lot of things out, being told things straight like that, because at any point I could have been gassed and be like, yeah, man, just all right, get back on it next week, all that. But what if that happens 3 weeks in the course of 7 weeks of progress? You know, you haven't lost maybe, but you progressed this much when you could have made a nice leap. You know, you if it's traverse might be the word to use, but you take that over, say, a year, and then on to 3 years. You know, how many days have you missed and how many days have you gained? And you'll see the guy who is more genetically gifted be working harder and progressing more. So you may be X individual who's got X genetics. You're working at a slow rate. There are guys who are better genetically gifted than you that are working harder than you. And that's what I was told. And that's fact. That is fact. Because bodybuilding, there is always someone better. And some of them don't even have Instagram. So you don't even know what these guys do. And I love those guys because they don't gas. They don't care about stories. They don't care about followers.
Who was the last? Love the game. There was one from Eastern Europe somewhere. He come out the woodwork, some dusty, dirty, backward gym. Come out and absolutely storm the super heavies. Like no one. I think he had like an Instagram and had like 15 followers or something. He come out of nowhere.
I saw it at Muscle Contest Ireland. I think it was 2018. You had a lot of guys from the UK gunning, in quotes here, for pro cards. There's a lot of gas. And I think there was like 3 or 4 Arab guys, I'm not sure what country they were from. And no one ever heard of them.
The younger Camel Crew guys, weren't they?
Might have been. I'm not too sure, but I didn't know who they were. And, you know, they turn up, storm the floor of everyone. And it's like, oh, where's the gas gone? You know? But that's bodybuilding. That's what I love about it. Same as the Arnolds, the guy that won his pro card from the heavyweights. You know, I didn't know who this guy was. No one knew who this guy was, but he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, he'd beaten one of the best athletes in the country, was Greg Taylor, Scottish Titan. I thought, was the man for it.
The glutes.
Pardon?
The glutes.
Mr. I pull from the floor every day and the shows.
Fucking mental.
Yeah, for those who don't know him, Greg Taylor, Scottish Titan on Instagram, he's a phenomenal athlete if no one follows him.
If you don't, you need to.
Yeah. What questions can we go into now? One of the ones we got pinged over earlier.
Oh, mate, there's well, we've actually got quite a few here.
Okay.
There was one that was let's kick it off with a nice one. Nice little story time. How did you both become friends?
You take this one.
Should we do the first time we ever saw each other?
We'll start off with that one, then we'll go to the one outside the gym.
So I used to back in the day, back in the sesh days, I was always at the pub every weekend. And there was this one. I was still going to the gym. I'd done like one little cycle. Used to think I was the shit, you know, proper little jumped up ego kid, wearing tight tops at the pub, you know, in these fucking designer garments, thinking he was the shit. And I walked into the local. He was strutting about, thinking I was the man. And then I clocked out the corner of my eye. This guy he was a semi lump. He was pretty big. He was bigger than the average fella. He just had some big arms, to be honest. And I kept looking at him, thinking, who's this dickhead in my fucking pub? Who's this dickhead? And I know damn well, because we spoke about it, he was thinking the exact same thing when I walked in my tight shirt with my arms out.
We spoke about it. Whatever he said to his friends, I said to my friends.
But the problem was I knew all your Nathan and Lewis, and I knew them all.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, that was their first time we ever saw each other properly. And then it was just one of those things of, we're in the gym, you know, you train at a similar time, and we walked out of the gym together. This is when George had hair, bear in mind.
A long time ago.
And we were like, do you want to train again tomorrow? And well, this time, blah, blah, yeah, go on then. And then just kind of since then, we were training partners for best part of a year under Jace with the Oxygen program, which was probably the funnest off season I've had up to date until now, recent days. And it was called Oxygen program for a reason. And we needed lots of it.
It worked for you quite fucking well.
It worked for me. It was perfect for me. You know, I grew a lot that year and ate like a pig. So
yeah, it did.
But it worked.
All it did for me was fry my CNS, but I weren't letting you beat me in the session. So I had to. Weren't going to lose.
And that's what one thing quickly going with training partners is, if you have a training partner, for me personally, I liked that we could go shot for shot on movements. The shot for shot for me is literally, you've got 3 plates on the bar, he can do 3 plates as well. You're not, say if you're training with your girlfriend, we all know how, when, like, say you're doing leg press, you know, you've got to take off, 10, 12 plates just to, get down to what you need. And that's not ideal, it's not as fun. But it is great to have someone at your sort of level. I don't care if they're a competitor or not. Like, there's a rugby lad at our gym, Ben, he's super strong, and I like to train with guys like that, purely because, they're strong as hell and they're stronger than me on movements. Same as he was, but you're stronger than me on this movement. But I'm like, yeah, but I want to beat you in every, I want to beat you in every movement. And
healthy competition.
That's not an ego thing.
Yeah, you need it. Healthy competition, man, in everything. You just need that.
Because we have it.
Yeah, even now.
Even now. Competition.
Oh.
Yeah, our competition's great because we had we're going to the bet that we had this year. We had the bet of who would get to 110 kilos first. Unfortunately, I got too fat in my off season too fast. I got up to 108.4 and got pulled back down. Resensitized, pull off unnecessary body fat, prepare for another push. Purely because I felt like a potato at that weight at 5'9". It's not, and I'd never been that heavy. It was very heavy, very quick, obviously on the joints and things like that. And obviously there are health implications going alongside of that, which if I was to continue on, that may have affected me in the future. And obviously George
definitely had height and structure on my size though.
Oh, of course.
It was a bit easier for me to get to that weight. I hit 113.2, my heaviest of the off season. It didn't look awful.
I'm not going to put that progress down to just you being bigger structurally. There was a lot that people don't know that went into that, from the eyes of work rate and not missing a beat and becoming the king of primo.
God damn, that was a lot of primo. That's not an advocate. That's not an advocate for drugs and everything, man. The reason I've taken a lot more PEDs and enhancements in the past and not made nowhere near the same progress as I made this one off season. That was simply
go on to stack design.
Go
on to dabble on stack design for people.
That's a separate podcast, G. We got to bring in the big guns for that.
Okay, yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, because that'll be a time of where I sit there and learn.
I've already planned that one. I've already planned it.
Yeah,
the message has been sent.
Perfect, because that'll be, if it's the guy I'm thinking of, then it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, that'll be nuts. But no, for me, just being 100% and not you claiming you're being 100% or thinking you're doing enough. Actually, meals to the fucking milligram, not in a beat. You're not just you get to a point, where you have off-plan meals. No, you got to macro track that off-plan meal so that it fits in with your calories of the off season. So you're not getting to the end of the week and then ramming in double burger, 2 large chips and a milkshake at Five Guys like I used to, which is easily 5,000 calories. You're macro tracking that meal to work in with the 5,000 calories you're eating in a day anyway, because you can't jeopardize getting too fat too quick because it's going to slow you off. It's going to fuck your off season. That's how anal I was for that whole period, because I tried how Alex made a massive jump when we was with our old coach in that year, and it wasn't 100%. He was just enjoying himself, still making some balance, still finding that time to have that balance stuff, but that just didn't work for me. So I had to step it up again. I had to find what worked for me. Don't miss a beat. And I preach this to everyone now, because you take someone like Alex that can have balance and still make progress. What the fuck can they do if they don't skip a beat then? Silly.
Go through how much mass you put on over the last year.
60 pounds plus. 60
pounds.
It was
and that's not
30.3 kilo, I believe. I went from 8 I was 79 at my lightest and smallest.
Go through what phase you were at beforehand, obviously lining up perfectly for this slingshot, as you will.
So I was prepping for the September shows of 20, just before COVID hit. It was the year COVID hit. It was 2020. We was getting ready. The show kept getting pushed back. Did a little photo shoot in the middle when we had that little lockdown break. And then we was back into prep mode for the back end of the year. I think our total was, it was something silly, like just over a year of dieting or something, of actual, not into a calorie surplus, had a little maintenance window somewhere in the middle, but just high fatigue, high stress. By the end of the year, COVID hit again. I wasn't chancing staying in prep mode. So I come out of that. I spent 2 months kind of coaching myself and just kind of, reversing out of the diet. I was just being very, very meticulous in how I rebounded from the diet phase into my growth phase. And then I got in contact with Joe, had to fix a few skin conditions. I suffered with acne very, very bad because I wasn't controlling any of my oxidative stress on previous cycles or push phases, blasts, if you will. And got Joe in to help me on the health front, kind of fix my skin. And from the minute he dropped some knowledge bombs on me in a 30-minute consultation call, that was it. Signed up to him. And then it was Operation Legs from there on out. I think I started with Joe at 83 kilos and we finished that push at 113.2 was their heaviest. In that, I think I had one mini cut, not for fat loss or because I got too fat, but because you can only hound a specialization block on a large muscle group like the legs or back for sort of 3, maybe 4 mesos if you've got the recoverability rate. But after a while, you've got to wash off that fatigue more so than just a deload. You've got to spend sort of 4 weeks of maintenance volume, really freshen up that resensitization block before you push again. That was thrown in the middle there somewhere. So it wasn't just straight growing. There was a little 4 to 6 week break in the middle there. And yeah, that landed us to here today, 4.5 inches up on the legs from when we started. And from Joe, I think it was 30 kilos. Yeah, the number's 30 kilos. So, yeah.
And I think this one we've been going to is, when is the best time to go into a growing phase, and why was this so successful, is the fact of his consistency and accuracy to the gram and obviously milligram, going obviously in all realms of anabolics, food, training, everything taken advantage of, including sleep, keeping an eye on blood pressure, resting heart rate, blood glucose, all the variables you possibly could have. I can guarantee they were taking control of in this time. And obviously trusting who you were, obviously the aura ring as well, and trusting who you were guided by. And that is a major step and key in bodybuilding is, are you trusting the individual leading your journey? And obviously as a coach, you are the individual who is leading that journey, and how you put your trust in someone, you do everything they say, and you see if it works. And when it does, the result's phenomenal, as this last year has seen.
I mean, the minute, so I was battling acne for best part of a year. Al saw how bad it did get, and I'm not stupid. I spend a hell of a lot of time doing my own research, looking into things, and I tried what I thought was everything under the book to try and fix it. Go
through the dermatologist as well. You mentioned who you were seeing.
Went to see 2 NHS dermatologists who tried all of the different like acne medications you can take, creams, medications, all leading up to the one prior to Accutane. Went to see a private dermatologist as well. Straight away, all he said to me was, yeah, let's jump you on Accutane, which I knew I didn't want to do, because using Peds and enhancements, I didn't want to add that extra stress and extra damage onto the liver. It's a vitamin A derivative, super toxic for the body in high dosages, which is why you have to get your liver checked once a month whilst you're taking it. Plus the dermatologist give it a fucking ridiculous dosage. You should be taking 60 to 80 milligrams or higher of fucking Accutane. It's ludicrous. So Joe spent half hour with me on a consultation call, taught me about oxidative stress, the things that I wasn't considering, looking at the overproduction of free radicals in the body, how to control that with supplementation first. Obviously, dietary intervention for a natural individual would be first port of call, but for someone using enhancements, simply what you eat. So like blueberries, things like cruciferous vegetables, that are going to help bring down oxidative stress, antioxidants. They're not going to be enough for someone in super physiological doses of hormones. So you need to control it by supplementation. Took me through all the ropes, taught me everything, and literally fixed my acne within the best part of 3 months. Like from week 1, there was improvements every single week. At one point, we did use 5 milligrams of microdose of Accutane, just because mine was extremely severe. But again, my blood work come back the best it's ever been, even using Accutane. So yeah, it just goes to show you what the dermatologists actually know. Even though, I had that conversation with them that, I am using pro hormones, Peds and enhancements, and their answer was, well, just don't take them. If you come off of them,
just don't take them. Yeah.
And it's like, but I'm trying to be a bodybuilder, man. What are you not understanding here?
So what I can say is, seeing this firsthand, when you see an individual with severe acne and you see how it's playing on their mental state when it comes to thinking of becoming a bodybuilder, when you're showing your physique, and why would he not want to show a back shot? Because he had a severe case of acne. And I even sometimes forget how it used to look. And you see it now where there is minimal. And I mean, going from one of the top end 9 out of 10 at severe scale, causing discomfort, always pain, obviously,
the deadlift explosions. Yeah.
The deadlift explosion, with the blood on the t-shirt and things like that. And obviously there are individuals out there who may listen to this that have this same thing. And this is what I love about obviously going through personal experience, because when you see someone's gone through something, solved it, figured it out, it is going to be helpful. We have another individual, I think it's Jamie, that obviously mentioned me before, and obviously had the same thing that you have. And obviously you can only recommend to go to the individuals that solved it in the first place, your first-hand experience. But this one was crazy to see how, it was that bad, and now you see it as nothing. It's like how, and then going for it, still being on cycle, still being bodybuilding, still doing bodybuilding, and still seeing it come together. It will blow your mind.
And
it blew mine.
starting from that bottom rate that off season, escalating the dosage is quite high, and it's still
Yeah.
not coming out and not starting again. Yeah.
Further than what he was using previously of other anabolics with zero effect. What's another cue we can go into?
What makes you both different as coaches? I'll let you lead on that.
I'll roll on this one.
Go on.
So our difference is, like I've said before, this is what it's kind of a funny little name as well, is that you have the bro and the science, and I will happily take the role of the bro with this. And obviously George is the science, obviously finding our loves of bodybuilding and what we love to go into. And I've been so big on, I've worked in a certain way, guided by certain people, and it has worked quite well. And the argument always against that is, so you did this way, this way, not even to 100%, like with detail and accuracy that evidence-based would give you. What would have happened in this time if you did focus to 100% using evidence-based methods? That is the greatest argument against it. Obviously, I love the balance in life. Obviously, we can go to obviously our coaching. For example, if my lifestyle client wants to go out drinking at some point, my immediate thing would be, does it reflect the goal? Of course, you have to let the client know this doesn't reflect their goal. But is this balance in life? Because lifestyle as a client, remember, it's the first word part of what the client is, life. And I believe the client has got to live that life. And does that involve drinking on a Wednesday? Sometimes. Does that involve cheeky takeaway with the missus on a Thursday? It does sometimes. Does it involve a glass of milk and a couple of cookies sometimes? Sometimes it does. That is what ordinary guys do. Grafters, office workers, carers working off their feet, railway workers, tarmackers, businessmen, whatever you name it, they will all have their moments of balance. And it is my job to help them find that perfectly. Whether they don't like me at the start or not, I have a client, James, who I said to him, I don't think you liked me at the start of this, but it was on me to tell you what was needed. And now the guy's in the best shape of his life. And we are still pushing past that. And he's like, no, I didn't. It's not that I didn't like you. I was like, no, I was just joking at that point. But as a coach, you have to go for those stubborn points of guidance, showing like, yeah, mate, I don't need you drinking at Tuesday at the golf club. I don't need you doing that. Can you go play golf, have a Pepsi, and then go home? Can you try it this week for me? Just see what happens. Have a drink on Saturday, with the off plan. Push it to there. And then obviously, overall caloric intake of the week works out perfectly, and the man drops 1.5 kilos. Boom. Happy. Oh, wait, that's what happens when I so I can still drink, just so I can progress. And, they're mind boggled by it, and it's just on me to be the stubborn one and guide them obviously through that process and show them that life can have balance and you can still progress. But obviously that's for lifestyle alone. So you go.
Yeah, that's the difference. If one of mine says, "Oh, sorry, I had a drink midweek," I'll just say, "Well, that's not good enough." You know the rules, you know the expectations. This is my. But see, I have standards, expectations that they need to read before they coach, so they know what they get into, and if they don't meet them, then it's a free, the free strike policy, and you're out. I will tell you firstly, it's not like a warning, but we're going to talk about why this is a problem, okay? Because you obviously don't understand why it's a problem. So we'll talk about it, and I'll say to you, alcohol is going to drive up the most amount of oxidative stress from anything you could do. Or fuck it, I'd rather you go and get on the session and not drink. just hypothetically, it's going to do less damage than you drinking alcohol. But that is not what you're paying me to do. You're paying me to give you a service and do my job. So I need to do that job. I will allow lifestyle clients to have a drink or two max with an off-plan meal. But if they're going out getting on the piss, then that's a whole week wasted of my time, my effort. And it's not, if they want to waste their time, by all means, no issue, bro. You crack on. But I've got people that don't want to waste my time or their own, that are paying for a service that they want to receive, and they have goals they want to achieve. And it comes down to, does your goal really mean what you think it does? And I have no issue with someone coming to me and going, actually, bro, I thought I wanted to get here, but I don't think I can do what it takes. If someone's going to say that, I have no issue with that. But I just won't tolerate it past that point. I understand life stuff happens, all right? I can appreciate that people that have families, people that have got kids, sometimes the meal timers don't work out. Sometimes the gym doesn't happen because their dad's in hospital, whatever. That's fine. I accept that. But you going out and having, 7 pints at golf, that isn't a life thing. That's a you problem. And I'm going to call that problem.
Yeah. I love that.
Not going to fly.
But that's what's so great about coaching is, see, George can sit there and say that. But then he can also say, if that's the way you want to be, though, man, no. I know 6 other coaches that might be able to accept you.
Yes.
And then you can recommend and pass on. There is a coach for everyone.
Yes,
there's completely. A coach for everyone, and that's what's so great about
it. Matt Physique Collective. This is someone that just drop a name in there, but he prides himself on balance. He prides himself on not coaching bodybuilders. He prides himself on, obviously he does, but he prides himself on helping busy business individuals, people that are going out on work meetings and stuff like that, where they're expected. I don't know why they're expected to drink, but they are expected to fucking socialize and have a glass of wine or this. And he helps them navigate that journey. It's just a very long journey to get their progress. So there is, like, that's just one example. There's plenty out there that do it, but that's just not me.
Next one.
We got when is the right time to take gear /peds? Now, I know me and you probably have different views on this one.
I will jump in, but your process will go a lot more in depth. So
this is an ethical thing, man. This is an ethical question. Yeah. Ain't no science.
So my view is, should anyone who is not looking to compete in bodybuilding, fitness, in that realm, take performance enhancing drugs to build their physique? My honest opinion is no. But on the back side of that, if you are someone who is going to take it and is not looking to compete, look at the avenues of health alongside that to make sure you are not screwing yourself over. Not listening to the guy in the gym saying, take 500 milligram of Tren because it's going to work. Because that, yes, it will work, my friend. It will do what it says on the tin, but there are health implications alongside of it. I'm sure you dive in a lot further than I can in these. But so what's the actual question again, to make sure I'm accurate?
When is the right time to take? So again, it's just an ethical thing, man. I'm guessing looking at like what age is like age a thing,
age will go alongside it.
Where is he on the journey
that I followed was building a base. You can't build a house on sand, and you need to build a foundation, especially when it comes to building a physique. You should be in the gym, I'd say if you started at 16, 3-4 years before you even consider starting. There are guys who've done it. We know pros, friends, athletes that have done it, and they've done it the right way. So they were well involved in the sport. This is just my view on it. Should you have to maximize your genetic potential first naturally? No, because there will be a lot of slow process to get there. Do you have to be 25? Do you have to be 24? No, that's not my view at all. I feel if you're going to take things seriously in a competing world, then by all means, look at the right individuals to guide you and then pursue that journey. Don't listen to anyone in the gym who hasn't got a clue just to start XYZ cycle because it works. Don't follow that route just because you become another arsehole that I look at, and I'm just not a fan of that.
See, that is very much along the lines of where I used to come from. But as coaching has evolved and as I've had different clients coming in and out, man, ethically, I don't care whether you compete, whether you don't, or whether you bodybuild per se, or whether you're just an average gym goer. I've got no obligation ethically. If you want to jump on a cycle, you want to go down that route, then, hey, who am I or anyone else to tell you no? You got plenty of people that go and risk a lot more on a Saturday night in a nightclub, taking pills and shoving shit up their nose than what you will running a cycle. All I will say is that you go with the appropriate person who's going to guide you on that journey safely, healthfully. I don't care what the reason is for. I don't care what the age, so long as you understand the risks, the rewards, and that aligns with whatever your goal is. Someone's goal might be, I want to look as sick as possible for an IB for prep, and someone, or just to go IB for with the boys, and someone might be sitting again, I want to turn pro. To both people.
Let me just chime in there, hoping people won't take what I've said as, because I have clients that live that life. Exactly the same thing for on our beef prep, the exact same place actually. But we have health on our mind here overall, and we're lucky to be connected with certain people, understanding that you can go through any issue of any caliber and you can make ways around it, because we have that on the mind, not just thinking I want to get this guy a result and make him look amazing for Instagram, because coaching is more than that. And there are guys out there who care just about more of the image rather than the individual themselves. And that's just how they are as a person, and I just don't want to conduct myself like that. And I've had guys who wanted to do cycles, and I said, let's try this first 12 weeks without, see what we can do. And I've had the messages saying, I am so glad that we didn't have to use Peds for this and still achieve something great, because we haven't had to mess anything around hormonally. We did it naturally. The guy's in great shape. It looks amazing, feels amazing, and we win. And we didn't have to use anabolics. That is a win. Obviously, whatever way you want to go with it. Do you have to get a great result? No. Would you get more using anabolics? Maybe, depending on the phase.
Yes is the answer to that one. You would, but it doesn't have to. But yeah, from an age standpoint, there is no right age or there is no wrong age. This is
What's your bottom end,
mate? So long as I can't say I'd be comfortable letting someone under the age of 18 doing it.
That's good to me.
Just because it's a hard time to navigate as a when you're that age anyway, and you don't really know what you want.
Not even just ethically, but for natural state of hormones.
You don't really know what you fucking want in life.
Yeah.
It's silly to commit to something that is a long-term thing. This is not a 5-minute jump on, jump off, jump on, jump off. Otherwise you will fuck yourself. This is I'm doing this for probably the next decade, 20, 30 years of my life. If you're jumping in it, you're jumping in it. So yeah, I don't think it's really a question for us. I think you need to settle it with yourself and say, where do I want to go? And if IBFA means that much to you, then do it. Just make sure you understand the risks associated, the potential health risks in the long term, not just the short term. And then make your decision based off of that. The first thing I speak to with people when they say to me, I want to do X, Y, Z, I want to go down this route. So, right, well, is this, and this that could potentially happen later on in life worth the goal at hand? And if they say yeah, then sweet, we're all good to go. But most of the time, unless it's I want to be a bodybuilder, when you say these things to them, they usually sway let me think about it for a week, and they come back and say, actually, let's just crack on naturally.
Yeah. Similar
to what you say, it's a similar approach. So like you say, right, give me 12 weeks naturally, and they change their mind.
Yeah.
Decision. I'd rather just question them there and then.
You're going to find out, because people, they see their friend who does it and looks amazing in 12 weeks and they use gear. So I've got to use gear. No, you don't. Let's see what we can do. And you think, wow, I didn't need it. And that's, like as many things I'll say, that's a win. That is a win. And I'll take wins all day, no matter how big or small.
Yeah.
Who's the last one? Because I need to go eat.
Oh, fucking hell.
Have we been on an hour or so, I think?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know where the timing is on this thing. It doesn't really say.
I can't see it.
Let's just do we'll do there's a female ped question, but we'll save that for a female ped podcast. That's a very good one. I like going into that. This one's good from Jan Pex. Discuss the importance of meal timing. I think we do agree on this.
Yeah,
as
we've learned different approach over the last year, especially even after doing this so long. Do meal timings?
Just discuss the importance of.
Oh, the importance. But you could put all your food in one trough and eat it throughout the day, in my eyes, and it'd do the same thing.
I think
and I'm going to chuck in one thing here. If you're going to go on about fasting cardio, it's better for you, but I don't care. Like calories before cardio, afterwards, I'm just going to say to me and my bro, I know that I'm going to go with the bro here. You're going to argue something. But to me, if the calories are going to go in, the calories are going to go in at some point in the day. And that is my view. And this is, again, whilst we love what we do, because George will probably say something here.
Just bringing up that cardio point you just made there, a little bit of a tangent. As a natural individual, completely agree. cardio really does not fucking matter at all. You do it where you need to do it. Doesn't really make much of a difference. If anything, I'd rather you not do it fasted as a natural athlete. However, if you're enhanced using certain lipolytic compounds, certain fat burners, should we say, then there is efficacy to do fasted cardio, so these compounds work better. But that's, enhanced natural is a very different. Meal timings, I think if you've got someone who wants to be 100% and wants to be a bodybuilder, then meal timings is going to matter. Digestion, sleep, optimizing that training window, replenishing glycogen, maximizing glycogen prior to training, sipping on some, a nice little carb source intra-workout, and then again, replenishing glycogen as you finish post-workout. But if you've got someone that is not really nailing their 100%, meal timings is pretty much stupid. You should be more concerned with actually hitting your calories and macros for the day. It doesn't matter when they are. And like Alex said, realistically, we're talking about like a 1%, not even a 5% at best. So you've got to be doing the other 99 to get the 1% benefit from meal timings. It's pointless if you're not. Don't sit there and, I'm eating all this pre-intro, post-workout meal. I'm maximizing the training window, and then you're going and yamming down a Five Guys or a Domino's. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
meal timing is important if you are committed 100%.
I'm going to go on obviously, I'm taking this as a question from an individual who may struggle with this. For example, I've worked with nurses and carers, people working in the NHS, who are on their feet for the longest amount of time I even know a human being to be. And doesn't make sense to me how the industry even works to do that, because they physically may not even have time in a 12-hour shift to eat. And I've seen that happen, and that baffles me. Lucky enough, I'm in the position I am to be able to eat when I want to. And to work things around that is tough. But these ladies and gents run off coffee all day, and they will struggle to even have the minute to sit down before they're dragged away to do something else because someone's being triaged, or something like that. But say if you are struggling and you can't get your meals in on time, don't worry. If you can't control the variable, it's okay. Get the food in when you can. If you have to have one bite of a bagel over the course of an hour to get it in, then get it done. If that's the only way you can do it. If you're having a flat out day and you're driving everywhere, just try your best. And that's obviously on the level of, where do you want to go? Do you want to be the guy who's going to be so anal with it? You want to set an alarm and get your meal in on time because it makes sense for taking advantage of anabolic windows and, prior nutrition to training, post-workout, things like that. Then fair play to you if you want to do that. But
the anabolic window is actually more like, it's not half hour like some people believe. Just crush a myth here.
Yeah, or golden hour, things like that.
Probably like 2-3 hours after training. 2-3 hours after training, you're still good.
As long as it gets in. For example, I have over 100 grams of carbs to eat post-workout. Sometimes I eat that in the morning. If I'm super hungry, I'll put those carbs in breakfast because I'm feeling it. I've got a lot of food to eat throughout the day. If I feel like eating those 100 grams of carbs, then I will. And it works for me. And that's what you got to ask yourself. Does it work for you? Does it work for this person? Do whatever works for you, man.
That's another thing I brought up about the career. Like, what do you do for work? Because I can say from when I used to tarmac, I couldn't eat 6 meals a day every 2 hours. I was having to double up meals because when you got a load of tarmac turn up, nah, sorry, bro, I let it go cold in the lorry. I'm gonna just quickly yam down my foot. It didn't work like that. So meal timings need to work around your lifestyle as well, your career, what you do on a daily basis. If you're on a shop floor working like, I don't know, Ralph Lauren or something like that on shop floor, you're probably going to be doing a bloody 4.5 hour run before you get lunch. So you're not going to be eating every 2 hours. It just doesn't work like that. So does meal timing, the importance of it, it's a 1%er, it's a 1%er. Make sure you're doing all of the 90% before you worry about that last 10%, which is made up of ones. That's my answer.
One thing I will try and say is, a really big important thing for me is try and eat before you work out at least. I know that you may be finishing late for work, things like that. Just do me a favor, try and get some good nutrition in before you train. Not only just mentally, you're going to know you've eaten, you're going to have like energy there, but physiologically, it's going to be there. We want to replenish as much as we can and be ready, because you're in the gym for say 2 hours. You don't want to be burnt out after an 8, 10, 12 hour shift with a load of traffic and trying to set personal goals in the gym and complete them, are you going to be able to do that running off empty stomach? Chances are no. You're almost taking steps backwards, but you're taking smaller steps forwards than you could have. And yeah, just find your balance is an easy way. I'll say it a lot over the course of this podcast. And just if you can find it, namaste, enjoy it, and get it in.
Right then, I think that's a wrap up on the first episode, guys. We are going to try. We are going to try and make this a weekly thing, providing that Al don't let me down.
I won't.
It's all right for me living the online coach life. I'm at my computer all day anyway.
So I will get off the Xbox.
Yeah. Don't ever let me catch you calling this for COD.
No, it's okay. I'm really excited about getting more people involved with this, and anyone that listens, I don't care who you are, if we know each other or not, if you've got a question, you want it answered, you want to even come on here and talk about it, you are going to be welcome to do so. And because I can talk to anyone, and that's what I love about being me. I'll talk to anyone. I'll breathe for days. George knows this.
We saw that at the weekend.
So obviously we'll put my Instagram tag is Alexander, that's with an ER_becoming. That's BCOMING. If you can't find me by typing it out, I'm sure you find me through George's Instagram, which is it GW_physique?
No, GW physique. All one word.
GW physique. Mm-hmm. As you find either of us there on socials, you reach out to us anytime, questions. Yeah, just welcome.
Of course, show some love on the YouTube channel. I've just started putting out some, trying to use it for educational content, but there will be some more enjoyable videos, some day in the lives. I've got one to wrap up of our show weekend, me and Zoe and that. Obviously, I'm going away on holiday for the week, so I'm sure I'll get some good training content and stuff. So yeah, hit up my YouTube channel. Any likes and subscribes are appreciated, guys. And we'll see you again next week.
Perfect. Love, guys.